Tonight on Ctv3 News, Belize on high alert, first measles cases in 2 years confirmed the following teen travelers returned from Mexico. One of the patients is from Corozal. Belize City horse brutally attacked by teens declared free of screw worm. Measles outbreak even more dangerous than COVID-19. And Orange Walk Town celebrates Centenarian Julio Gongara's 100th birthday with family and community. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, April 15th, 2025.
Coming soon, Pro FC 16. Get ready for an electrifying night of combat sports as Pro FC takes over the Princess Vegas Hotel and Casino in Corozal on Saturday, May 17th, 2025. Witness 14 adrenaline-fueled fights featuring the fiercest competitors from Belize, Mexico, Canada, and Guatemala, all battling for glory and supremacy in the ring. Pro FC 16. Don't just watch the action, be part of it. Pro FC 16, exclusive on the Express Plus app.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Belizean health officials are on high alert following the confirmation of 2 imported cases of measles, the country's first since 1991. The cases involve 2 17-year-olds from the Corozal and Cayo districts who recently returned from a trip to Chihuahua, Mexico. Both teens, who the ministry notes are both unvaccinated, developed symptoms in early April, and lab confirmation was received on April 12th. The 2 teenagers were part of a larger group of travelers, of which 13 remain asymptomatic, with 11 confirmed to be vaccinated. Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, Director of Public Health and Wellness, shared the details during a media briefing this morning.
Ministry of Health and Wellness confirmed 2 imported measles cases. Belize's first since 1991. This is 34 years ago. The cases are individuals from the Corozal and Cayo districts who had recently traveled to Mexico. The information thus far is as follows. The group included 15 travelers from 4 communities in Belize. These persons traveled to Chihuahua, Mexico around the 5th of January 2025 and returned to Belize around the end of March 2025. Of the persons with this similar travel history, 13 are asymptomatic, of whom 11 are vaccinated. 2 unvaccinated persons have developed symptoms in Belize and were tested positive for measles. The details of the 2 positive cases are as follows. A 17-year-old male, unvaccinated, who started with fever, rash, and cough on April 3rd. Laboratory confirmation of measles was received on April 12th. The second case is a 17-year-old female, unvaccinated, who started with symptoms on April 2nd. Laboratory confirmation of measles was received on April 12th. All 15 travelers have been interviewed by the staff of the Ministry of Health and Wellness and are being monitored regularly for signs and symptoms. These cases emerged amid a regional surge in measles across the Americas. Between January and March of 2025, 507 confirmed cases were reported in countries including Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Argentina. This represents a significant increase compared to the same time period in 2024.
Measles is a highly contagious viral illness that Belize has worked to eliminate through routine immunizations. The country began offering the measles vaccine in 1973. At this time, the country's national vaccine coverage remains below the target of 95%, with only 83.9% coverage reported in 2024. Corozal maintains the highest vaccination rate thus far in the country.
I left off that Belize started the measles vaccine in 1973, and we progressed to the MMR vaccine in 1996 to present. Within this time, mop-up campaigns were conducted to ensure that persons born prior to 1973 were vaccinated. Despite our great efforts in ramping up the vaccines, Belize remains below the target percentage of 95%. In 2024, Belize reported a country percentage of 83.9% for the MMR2. There are many communities countrywide where the target percentage remains low, and it is in these communities that our team of healthcare workers are putting much effort. The vaccination coverage per district will be shared with the media team here today. However, it is to be noted that the Cayo and Belize districts reported the lowest vaccination rates of 73.5% and 79% respectively, with the highest being recorded in Corozal at 93.9% for the year 2024. Belize currently has 39,000 doses of MMR vaccine to improve our vaccination coverage, and a kind offer from neighboring Mexico to increase the supply of vaccines if needed. The Ministry of Health and Wellness urges the public to ensure vaccinations are up to date, particularly for children. Parents, check your children's vaccine cards to determine if their vaccines are up to date. Adults who have not received an MMR vaccine or who are uncertain of their vaccination status should visit a health facility to receive the vaccine. The Ministry of Health is also enhancing surveillance and contact tracing efforts to contain the potential spread. We're doing this by educating the public on measles, by actively looking for cases, testing any suspect cases early, and by ensuring increased access to health care and to the MMR vaccines. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is urging the public to stay alert. Report any cases of fever and rash illnesses to the nearest health facility without delay. This will allow healthcare workers to advise and treat cases rapidly.
The confirmation of these imported cases comes amid a sharp regional rise in measles cases. While there are currently no travel restrictions in response to the uptick in cases of measles, the Ministry of Health is advising anyone who is planning to travel to review vaccination schedule before doing so.
Yes, any unvaccinated person traveling abroad and coming in contact with persons that may be infected with measles, more than likely will be infected with measles. So we have so many flights in and out of Belize, and if we look at the data in the US, a lot of destinations from Belize, they're having outbreaks. But I think the key message here is for if you are going to travel, make sure you review your vaccination status. And ideally, you should get vaccinated before you're traveling, because these cases is just the perfect formula for importation. Unvaccinated and coming in contact with a person with measles. Now, the issue with measles is that the person is contagious even before having signs and symptoms. So it makes it more difficult for one to say, well, I will stay away from persons that are ill with fever and rash, but the contagious period starts even before that. So it makes it more difficult. But travel bans, so far, I don't think that's the way to go. The protection for the community starts with the protection of the individuals. If we want to protect our population against measles, the best and most effective protection is to get vaccinated.
Locally, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is working along with different agencies to follow a thorough surveillance plan in all areas of entry, including land, sea, and the airport.
Well, the process in Belize and in the Ministry of Health and Wellness is that we do have public health inspectors trained in surveillance at our borders and at the cruise ships. So the public health inspectors have numerous roles when they're at these border points. And one of the roles is in surveillance. And we have now, in fact, the regions are meeting today and some met yesterday to enhance this surveillance. So the enhancement basically means that we're actively looking for cases, reaching out to people who have been sick, because of course, a part of the public health inspector's duty at the border points, especially for the airport, is to look at the report that the captain sends out just prior to landing, identifying whether somebody is ill on flight, etc. And then we take action depending on that. But as Dr. Bear mentioned, we will also have posters. The public health inspectors do ask about fever. We try to identify early if there are any sick families in the group, or and we then give advice and isolate as needed. So this will be enhanced. We will more than likely, depending on the regions, because not all regions, the response will be the same. The borders, of course, are a little bit, the land borders might be different than the cruise ships and the airports. So we will adjust for each border, and we will enhance the surveillance at those places.
Is that measles presents with fever, cough, runny nose, coryza, inflamed eyes, and most notably a rash across the body, but may complicate to pneumonia, seizures, encephalitis, subacute sclerosing panencephalitis, immunosuppression, hearing loss, and blindness. Health officials are asking the public to remain alert for symptoms of measles, such as fever, rash, and cough, and to report suspected cases promptly to the nearest health center or by calling 0800 MOH CARE. As Ministry of Health officials continue their efforts to increase vaccination thresholds across the country, Technical Advisor for Maternal and Child Health, Dr. Natalia Beer, highlights the correlation between the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic and vaccine hesitancy, which is now being seen in some areas.
Yes, we had a higher acceptance rate of vaccines before COVID, although worldwide, we have seen a decrease in the uptake of the vaccines, because that's why countries are experiencing now outbreaks. In our case, well, until this year, but you have countries that have years with measles outbreak because their communities refuse to accept the vaccine, and now they are in problems trying to increase their coverage. But yes, we do recognize that there is vaccine hesitancy, so more education, more information needs to be available, warning the population that measles is preventable with a vaccine. And we will make all efforts, as Dr. Musa said, to ensure the population have access to vaccines. People can recall, especially the elders, if they had the disease or if they were vaccinated, and if we cannot find the records, then they're due to get at least one dose of MMR vaccine.
Dr. Beer, however, shares that the current measles outbreak is even more dangerous than COVID-19 based on its level of transmissibility and incubated period.
If we go back and look at COVID, the situation with COVID-19 is that we were faced with the COVID-19 pandemic with no persons vaccinated against COVID-19. And then we went from routine vaccination of 7% of the population to trying to vaccinate 70% of the total population. The situation with measles is a bit more concerning because of the transmissibility. One person that is infected can infect 9 out of 10 persons. The spreading of the droplets when a person breathes, cough, sneeze, can remain in the ambient up to 2 hours. And contaminated surfaces can also have the virus there that can be transmitted within that 2 hours. And the reach of that transmission is 12 feet, 12 feet. So if you compare the data with COVID and measles, measles is more contagious than COVID-19. Hence, but the situation that we are stepping in with this measles outbreak that we have, one case in Belize is an outbreak. We have a large amount of the population vaccinated. So the urge is for persons that are unvaccinated or cannot remember if they were vaccinated or not to get vaccinated. It's the only way we can stop the spread. So we need the collaboration from the entire community. And this collaboration needs to come from all communities countrywide. We can't wait until we have a case in Toledo to start working in Toledo. All the teams countrywide are activated and working in the field with the communities. And we have increased the active search of cases in health facilities and also at community level.
With the vaccine being the most effective form of defense against the virus, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is currently also reviewing the vaccination schedule for the MMR vaccine, which is currently given in 2 doses at ages 12 and 18 months.
Well, with regards to the travel advice, that would be different than regular advice if you're not traveling. But the WHO, they have advised and they have printed that if you are traveling to an area that's high risk for measles, that if you do have, as Dr. Bear mentioned, either a month or up to 2 weeks before, if your baby is 6 months through 11 months, you should get 1 dose of the vaccine. Everyone 12 months and older as well should get the 2 doses of the vaccine. That's for travelers, so I want to make that clear. If you're traveling to an area where there is active transmission. But Dr. Bear, you could go ahead with protection.
Yes, the routine dosage is the first dose at 12 months of age, and then the second dose at 18 months of age. In this case, we are still revising if we need to drop it to 9 months, and then that would be a 0 dose. And then we follow the scheme with 12 and 18 months.
As the Easter weekend approaches, the Belize Police Department is urging residents to take extra precautions to ensure a safe and enjoyable holiday. The plea comes amid concerns over increased traffic, gatherings, and potential safety risks inherent in the festivities. On Friday, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams appealed to the community to remain vigilant and responsible as families and friends prepare to celebrate.
Again, at this time of the year, we know that the Lent season is one that many Belizeans would take for granted, and it has troubled us for many years. We see an increase in the loss of lives, not just on the highways, but on the waterways. And so we normally encourage our people to exercise extreme caution when using the highways. Try to drive within speed limits. Do not drive recklessly. Stay on the side of the road. And those who go to the waterways, always try to take somebody with you. Don't go alone. Because sometimes you go into these rivers, the water is so cold, you catch a cramp. If nobody is there to assist you, you might just submerge and never resurface. And so, again, try to go with somebody and do not go into water that is too deep that you will not be able to stand with your head above the water. And again, the police and the police department will be working very closely with Department of Transport, countrywide on our highways to make sure that we do our part to mitigate the occurrences of traffic accidents on the highways around this time.
Of note is that the Ministry of Constitution and Religious Affairs, Indigenous Affairs, and Transportation has a newly appointed transport board which convened its inaugural meeting today, officially assuming duties effective April 14, 2025. The newly appointed transport board members comprise of Joel Cervantes as chairman, Deborah Jones, deputy chairperson, Clementina Castillo, representative of private sector, users of public transport, Senior Superintendent Calber Flowers, representative of the Belize Police Department, Russell Medina, representative of the Ministry of Infrastructure, Development and Housing, Thomas Shaw, representative of the Public Transport Providers, Peter Williams, designate representative of the Chief Transport Officer and Deputy Chief Transport Officer. The Honorable Louisa Banet, Minister of Constitution and Religious Affairs, Indigenous Affairs, and Transportation, addressed the board members, articulating his transformative vision for Belize's public transportation system. Minister Zabani emphasized the ministry's commitment to developing an integrated, efficient, inclusive, and environmentally sustainable transportation network that adequately meets the evolving needs of the Belizean people and economy. Also present were Chester Williams, incoming Chief Executive Officer, Leon Gentle, Chief Transport Officer, and Anna Logue, Director of Policy Planning and Research. A 25-year-old man from San Felipe Village, Orange Walk, has been sentenced to a total of 10 months and 2 weeks in prison after pleading guilty to multiple offenses during a court appearance in Belize City on Friday. The charges against Maribeo Hilberto Gonzalez included damage to property and breach of a protection order, both of which stem from incidents that occurred in April. Reports indicate that on April 8, 2025, Gonzalez, under the influence of alcohol, vandalized several household items belonging to a relative. Among the damaged property were a Mabe refrigerator valued at $1,000, 2 plastic chairs worth $70, and a brown basket valued at $20. Additionally, Gonzalez violated a protection order issued by the Orange Walk Magistrates Court on March 11, 2025, which explicitly prohibited him from entering his mother's home for 1 year. Despite the order, Gonzalez entered the residence, alleging that his mother had permitted him to come for food and to wash his clothes. In his mitigation plea, Gonzalez acknowledged his intoxication at the time of the incident and attributed his violent behavior to a confrontation with his brother-in-law. He sought leniency from the court, requesting an opportunity to pay a fine instead of serving time. However, the court took into account Gonzalez's previous convictions for similar offenses of damage to property and breach of a protection order. Consequently, the senior magistrate imposed a 6-month sentence for the damage to property charge, reduced for his early guilty plea, as well as a 7-month and 2-week plea sentence for violating the protection order. Notably, both sentences are to run concurrently, amounting to a total of 7 months and 2 weeks in prison. However, Gonzalez's situation was compounded by an outstanding fine of $505 related to a prior conviction for damage to property, which he failed to pay. This oversight led to an additional 3-month sentence to be served consecutively with his current term, summing his total imprisonment to 10 months and 2 weeks. Furthermore, Gonzalez still faces an unresolved fine of $305 stemming from a drug possession charge. As there remains time for him to settle this financial obligation, no arrest warrant has been issued for this case. Coming up next, winners of the 2025 Farmer of the Year competition announced ahead of National Agriculture and Trade Show. Two of the winners hail from the north. Stay tuned.
Name's Tyson. Welcome to Tulsa.
Dive into an adventure like never before with Express Plus app. Experience the thrill of power and redemption with Tulsa King.
This situation is not going to be controllable for much longer.
Unlock the secrets of the supernatural with a discovery of witches. Enter the epic saga of Yellowstone.
I'm ready. Who runs this valley?
Tap into your inner warrior with Marvel's Iron Fist.
How many times a night you light that fist up?
All these incredible stories and more are ready for you with the Express Plus app, streaming entertainment.
Every day, we access energy for cooling, lighting, and powering our electrical appliances and devices at work and at home. During cooler months, we rely less on cooling appliances such as fans and air conditioners. However, during warmer months, as the temperature and humidity rises, we use more energy to cool our spaces, and our appliances and electrical devices work harder than they do during the rest of the year. When the months become hotter, let's all practice energy conservation. Here are a few changes that you can make to manage your energy use. Check that all appliances and electrical devices are working efficiently. Turn lights off when not in the room. Unplug chargers, appliances when not in use. Turn off fans and TVs. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LEDs. And look for the Energy Star products when purchasing appliances and electrical devices. These easy changes can reduce energy use and costs. You can also monitor your energy use during the month by reading your meter and calculating the reading using BEL's bill calculator on our mobile app or by visiting our website. Let's all save energy.
The Belize Agricultural Health Authority, BAHA, has announced positive news regarding Oni, the horse that was the victim of a brutal attack by 3 teenagers in Belize City. Following a thorough examination carried out this morning, the horse has tested negative for screwworm, alleviating fears of further health complications. Samples taken from Wani on Sunday revealed no signs of the destructive parasitic maggots, which can cause severe harm to animals. According to BAHA personnel, Wani's wounds are healing well and the animal is on the road to recuperation. Wani suffered horrendously when 3 teens were caught on video attacking him with a machete while tied up, an incident that quickly went viral and ignited widespread outrage across the nation. The event took place near the Fabers Road extension, drawing condemnation from animal rights activists, citizens, and government officials alike. Following the horrifying incident, 5 individuals have been arrested, including 2 adults and 3 minors, and are facing serious charges including cattle theft, cruelty to animals, and abetment to commit cruelty to animals. The arrests have sparked conversations about animal protection laws and the need for more stringent penalties regarding such acts of violence. The National Agriculture and Trade Show (NATS) Committee, in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise, have released the names of the winners of the highly anticipated 2025 Farmer of the Year competition. The recognition highlights the outstanding achievements of local farmers who contribute significantly to the agricultural landscape of Belize. This year's honors go to Gregorio Esquivel, who has been named for Senior Farmer of the Year representing the Corozal district, Naomi Requena, who received the title of Female Farmer of the Year from the Toledo district, and Juan Correa, who has been honored as the Junior Farmer of the Year from the Orange Walk district. The announcement of the winners comes as preparations ramp up for the 2025 National Agriculture and Trade Show, set to take place from May 30th to June 1st in Belmopan. This year's event will center around the theme integrating sustainable food systems, mitigating climate change, strengthening agricultural resilience. This theme underscores a growing commitment to sustainability and climate-smart practices that seek to protect the environment while ensuring food security for future generations. Over the weekend, the Gongora family here in Orange Walk Town celebrated a very special occasion as their family's patriarch celebrated his 100th birthday. Born in the year 1925, Julio Gongora, a local Orange Walkenian, celebrated 100 years of life over the weekend. Our news team was part of the grand celebration on Saturday and got a chance to speak with this centenarian who spoke about what it's like turning 100 and shared what he says is the secret to long life.
Pues ya hice que todos quieran que tengamos este día de hoy para mi borde. Pues gracias a Dios de que ya terminó, acabó todo, casi todo. También me siento bien, pero es la mano que me está doliendo, esa mano. Y el cuerpo no lo tengo bien. Para caminar es lo que me está afectando. Para caminar no puedo caminar solo. Tengo que tener algo para ayudarme. Pero digo, pues, siempre digo, el de arriba es el único. Que ahorita Diosito que me está pidiendo que me ayude hasta llegar el tiempo, al final de mi vida. Porque Él sabe cuándo voy a ir. Yo no sé cuándo voy a ir, pero Él sí sabe cuándo voy a ir. Pues le doy gracias al de arriba, que estoy acá vivo todavía, con mis hijos, nietos y todo. Están festejando este gran día.
Reaching the milestone age of 100, according to Julio, came after many years of hard labor, which was the norm during his youth as a farmer and family man.
¿Qué es el secreto de poder llegar a 100 años? Usted vivió tanto tiempo.
Pues yo cuando era joven yo trabajaba duro de lado al otro lado. Trabajé buenos años. Y hace años me quedo en México, pero regresé otra vuelta a mi país. Pues crecí, ahora y nos trajeron acá en New York. Porque la finca que tenía mi papá dejó todo allá en New York. Tenía ganado, tenía todo. Así ahora
Had 11 children, all of whom came together on Saturday to celebrate the honor of having him around at such a special age. His daughter, Yolanda Gongora, says her dad is a gem to the entire family.
Your dad.
It is indeed a huge occasion. My father comes from a family of 6, and he had a family of 11 children. And so you can imagine, the joy that we always had on a daily basis. Even though we were poor, it didn't mean that we didn't have, what were the necessary things. We had love. We had 2 parents that loved us, that cared for us. We may not have had the opportunity all to go to high school, but at least I can say that I went. And I was able to come back at the end of my junior college and help my family as it relates to all the needs that we had coming with the rest of the children. So It was difficult, it was challenging, but at the end of the day, we are so happy and elated today that we are able to celebrate a century with my dad, that many people don't have that opportunity to. We have at this moment memories that are sad, but today is more about the happiness and the joy that we can celebrate, and that our grandchildren and great-grandchildren and cousins and nieces can understand that with love, one can achieve the most out of life.
And having lived for an entire century in Belize, Gongora says her dad is a treasure chest of our community's rich history spanning over 10 decades.
He cannot understand how we are the way we are today. You know, he can reminisce on the days that we didn't have to use a calculator. And now I'm telling him that we don't need a calculator. There is AI. And he's like, what is AI? That's something that he would never have thought of. And then he keeps saying, I can't understand how you people can live like that. Because when I was young, we didn't have, what we have today. So on a daily basis, he has some very good days. And there are some challenging days, particularly with the pain. He's a little bit weaker today than he was a year ago. I can remember a year ago when he turned 99, we were all excited and looking forward to 100. Today, we need to cherish every single day that we have with him. He, nonetheless, he is a joyful person, and the opportunity that we have to spend half an hour with him, I think is great for him. Stories, there's many. And sometimes we are saddened that we didn't take the time out to write them down. So from time to time, I record what he's saying. I can record 10 years ago when we walked his farm, and he was walking. He was showing us his farm, his cane field, his well, the first well, and he reminded me that when he purchased his land in the 50s, he used to travel by boat on the sea to go to the registry in Belize City to pay for his land. The money that he paid seems insignificant to us today, but at that time it was a lot. So when I had the opportunity to take him back to Belize City, I took him around the city, and I took him before they destroyed or they demolished the registry and the post office. I took him around, and he goes like, I can't understand how this building is no longer here. I can't understand why people have changed. And I said, there's a lot of things that have changed, and we are happy that he can give us those stories and that we can record them, and that our great-grandchildren and our children can also enjoy those stories with us.
As part of the extended family who joined in Saturday's celebration, Prime Minister John Briceño, nephew of Don Julio, also shared the special memories with his uncle.
Well, I think it's a wonderful and exciting time to be here with your Julio, celebrating 100 years. We need to remember that his father, my grandfather, Papito, as we used to refer to him, lived for 102 years. And Tio Julio is still looking good. He still has his mind, he's fully aware of what's going on. And his mother lived for, I think it was 96. Mamita lived for 96. So it seems that they have these genes to be able to live long years and productive years. Just last year when I was talking to him, he was lamenting. He says, that his family don't allow him to get on his bike. He has a carrier bike. I think we have it right here. You should take footage where he used to go all the way to his farm. It was on the Guinea Grass Road every morning on his carrier bike, and to be able to work. And now I'm saying that you'd love to continue his carrier bike, but you don't want him to go complaining at 99, imagine. And also was commenting that he's amazed how much our Injoctong has grown from when he was a little boy to where he is today, And he's so happy that, and as I said earlier, what's important about with your Julio, there are countless cases where families abandoned the elderly in their lives, in their families. And here's your Julio, he's full of love. Her daughters and her sons and his grandchildren and great-grandchildren still come around to see him and to hug him and to love him and to show that they want him around. And I think that helps for you to live a long life, because once you have people that love you and cherish you, then you have that spirit to be able to live longer. So I'm very excited. I want to say happy birthday to you, Julio. 100 years, for sure. I don't think I'm going to see 100 years, but thanks, it's so exciting.
The Easter weekend is just a few days away, but the Orange Walk Town Council, in collaboration with the Orange Walk Central Office and Prime Minister John Briceño, celebrated Easter early with the children of Orange Walk Town as they hosted the 4th annual Easter egg hunt over the weekend. The annual event was hosted on Sunday at the People's Stadium and saw the participation of over 500 kids. The day was filled with treats and games for the little ones, culminating with a grand Easter egg hunt. From its inception 4 years ago, the annual event, according to Deputy Mayor Alan Yu, has grown tremendously.
This is our 4th year having our annual Easter egg hunt, and as you can see, it's getting larger and larger, bigger and bigger. We started off with just an idea between me and Councillor Kadir, and then it grew. More sponsors, more donations, more assistance, right? And then the PM saw the vision we have, and he made it larger. So every year we've been partnering with the Prime Minister, so it's getting larger and larger. Right, so it's mainly about family fun, right? It's about the kids coming to play, getting some prizes, you know, getting away from all the screens and computers. So come out, have some fun, and we're still waiting for the main event, which will be the egg hunt, right? So we have prepared over 500 goodies bags. So after they play their games, there will be goodies bags. We also have all the eggs all scattered around the People's Stadium. So it'll be a good time.
Prime Minister John Briceño, along with Special Envoy Her Excellency Rosanna Briceño, were also on hand for Sunday's event. For the PM, Sunday's event was just another great opportunity to spend quality time with the children of our own who make any holiday special.
Well, it has become a tradition because 2 years ago we started off with 100 kids. Last year did 300. And now here this year, we're catering for over 500 kids. I've always said one of the joys of being the representative for Orange Walk Central is to be able to work with kids. You know, I enjoy being with them, looking at the innocence in their faces, and they want to participate in every game. I totally enjoyed it, and I want to enjoy it. And I want to thank the parents that have cooperated to bring their children up here. So we have had a lot of games right now. You notice kids from all ages, both boys and girls. We even had for this special ed kids that they participated. You know, Rosanna is really into special education. That has been pretty much her life calling. And so now that we finished that, we're going to break up into 3 groups. From 0 to 5, they are going to be in one area, 6 to 10 in one area, and then the ones from 11, I think, to 15. If it make it more than that, maybe I'll be going also hunting. But so we're excited and we're grateful, and we thank everybody, all those that cooperated with us, our executive, people that donated their time, and those that also made donations to make this a reality. We constantly have a partnership with the community, both businesses and individuals, that they see that the things that we do it's for the community, and in this case it's for the children here in Orange Walk Central during Easter time.
This year's event was successful through the partnership with the local business community, who came together to make the Easter egg hunt a special occasion for everyone in attendance.
So there's a lot of sponsors that assisted us with this event, right? So primarily we have the Prime Minister, who is always on board with us every year with his machinery, with purchasing many of the different supplies, etc. And then I have a list of the different sponsors I'd like to big up, right? And every year they give us more and more and more, right? So I have the Belizean Studio, Caribbean International Brewery, All Day Supermarket, Aaron Superstore, 123 Supermarket, Sugar City Supermarket, Sunny Store, Kiss Fruit Factory, Luda's Fast Food, Hong Lee, and Sky Pure, for all the many donations from the chips, from the sweets. Oh, I forgot about AAA as well. They donated from sweets, biscuits, jellos, Ideal water for the kids, everything that came from the goodies bags, everything that we are giving out, all the different prizes. One of our largest sponsors actually is Caribbean International Brewery. They donated $1,000 for all the prizes. So I have a lot of support, and I really like to thank the community, the business community, for always giving back, to always think about the kids and always giving back to the community.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Attention farmers. The New World screwworm is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and humans. It causes yield losses, damages the quality of meat and skins, and can even kill them if left untreated. Check your animals daily. If you see any wounds on them, treat them immediately. Prevention is key. Apply approved healing and fly repellents to the navel of newborn animals after dehorning, ear tagging, or any other practice that leaves wounds on your animals to ensure your animal's well-being. If you notice worms in unusual wounds, report them immediately. Call Baja at 824-4872 or text or WhatsApp 670-7003 or call your nearest Ministry of Agriculture office. And don't forget, never transport or receive animals with injuries. Together, we will prevent the spread of this dangerous disease. This message was brought to you by Baja, OIRSA, AICA, USDA, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise.
Really? You not switch yet? No what? I tell you. I don't.
You used to call me on my cell phone, late night just to stay in touch. Call me on my cell phone, cause our connection used to mean so much. And I know when that thought line bling, February's got that love to bring. Yeah, I know when that thought line bling, Smart is giving you everything. These days all I do is wonder if you're still connected with somebody else. Wonder why you're missing out on what's best for yourself. You could have had more, but you're still stuck with them. You don't need no one else, you don't need nobody else. So it's time to switch up and run, cause Smart's the best in the land. They got the top speed and the best service for your phone. You should just switch to them, it's smarter, no one else. You used to call me on my cell phone.
As he prepares to step into the role of Chief Executive Officer, the outgoing Chief of Police, known colloquially as the Compole, has revealed his focus areas within the ministry, highlighting a strong commitment to enhancing transport safety. Last week, the Commissioner expressed his concern about the escalating problem of reckless driving and outlined potential strategies for addressing this critical issue.
I have been in dialogue with my future minister, Minister Zabani, in terms of looking at some of the things that we want to see done within the transport ministry. And certainly road safety is a priority. I'm not going to go into details at this time in terms of what my plans will be, because I believe that I would need to sit down with the Chief Transport Officer, and his deputy, as well as to meet with the persons who are in charge of DOT across the country and get their input, get feedbacks from them, and based on that, then we put together a plan of action that is going to be implemented to make our highways safer. So,
during his tenure as Chief of Police, the Compole has been vocal about the dangers of irresponsible driving behaviors, including speeding, aggressive maneuvers, and distracted driving. His experience on the front lines of law enforcement have shaped his understanding of the challenges faced in promoting road safety.
I must say that as a child,
as CEO in the Ministry of Constitution and Religious Affairs, Indigenous Affairs, and Transportation, Chester Williams will also have to deal with the Indigenous Affairs sector. Reflecting on his childhood experiences in the southern regions, Williams on Friday conveyed a strong sense of hope regarding his capacity to contribute positively to that sector. His upbringing, he claims, has fostered a deep understanding of the unique challenges faced by indigenous communities, enabling him to provide meaningful support in this important domain.
No, I must say that as a child growing up, I went to primary school in most of the villages in the Toledo district. I went to Santa Elena Primary School. I went to Pueblo Viejo Primary School. I went to San Antonio Primary School, Colombia. I lived with one of my uncle and aunt, and they were teachers in the Toledo district. And every year we moved from one village to the other. And so I was privileged to have attended most of my primary school years in the Mayan villages behind Toledo district. So I
like caldo?
Of course, I do like caldo. In my younger years, I could have speak Maya to some extent. But now it's been so many years, I've lost that touch. But certainly, I don't foresee an issue. There's going to be a lot of legal issue in that, and I will just have to acquaint myself with the CCJ judgment or the Court of Appeal of Belize judgment on that matter. But there is also the judgment of Arif Bolkan from the Court of Appeal of Belize, which I believe is very, very interesting. And then acquaint myself with the CCJ judgment, the consent order. And from there, I think it should be smooth sailing.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, April 15th here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening tonight.